Yes, we are live. We are live. Hey, everyone. I don't know what's been going on with my internet. It's been unstable the last 2 days. So hopefully we don't have that problem throughout today's session. But if it does become unstable, just know I will probably jump right back on. So don't leave if at any point my internet becomes unstable again. Good news is for those that have been joining us the last 2 weeks, we were having this issue with Zoom, but we figured it out and it's fixed, and we should not have that issue again today. But before we get started, I want to do a quick introduction. Normally, I skip the part where we do introductions in the group, but I think we still have a small now. I see faces. I would love some intro really quick. I'll quickly who I am about marketing talks. Then I'll try to get through the group before we get more people to join and it doesn't become too overwhelming before we can jump right into today's presentation. So I am Magali Ascent. For those that I have not met before, I serve as the Interim Executive Director for an organization by the name of Hustle Winston-Salem, which is located in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. We are focused on inclusive entrepreneurship. We provide resources for entrepreneurs of color and women and those in marginalized business districts, but we are also a resource for all despite that. This particular program that you're at today, Marketing Outside the Box, we actually do this every single week, same time, same place. Every month we have a new series and we focus on that topic for the month. And we do this in conjunction with the Foresight Tech Small Business Center, which is also located in Winston-Salem and part of the Foresight Tech Community College larger group. And the Small Business Center is connected to the overall Small Business Center network that many of you probably have in your communities if you are not local to our community. We also do this program in partnership with Flywheel Co-working when we were in person. When we can go back in person, we'll definitely be there with Flywheel. And there are co-working spaces in our community as well that support programs like this. So we appreciate you all being here today. This month, of course, we're focusing, which is why you registered, we're focusing on websites and helping you build your website. So for those that are new, and again, I see a lot of new faces. For those that are new, we try to provide information in bite sizes so that it's something you can digest. So that's how we take it out through the month with anything that we do in a series, and things that you can immediately apply to your business during the session, as soon as you leave the session or within the week of this session. And we do send you all of the presentations via email as long as you're registered. So I still think we have a small enough group if we can just do quick introductions. If you don't feel like speaking, I'll just skip over you and introduce yourself in a chat. That's perfectly fine. There's no pressure to do anything here. So I'll start with the first person I see and just kind of quickly go and just 30 seconds, who you are. If you have a business, tell us about your business and things of that nature, okay? So quick, is it Isabel? Am I saying that correct?
You are, thank you. Hi, I'm Isabel. I am speaking from Reynolda campus at Wake Forest because I work at the law library. It's my day job. Coming into my own as a writer and just starting to put myself out there and getting just started my own LLC for that career path. And so at the very beginning stages of the entrepreneurship aspect, but I'm having wanted to do this for a very long time. So finally stepping into that role and looking for the support. Yeah, thank you for
fantastic. Welcome to the world of entrepreneurship. Fantastic. Be sure, and we'll add you to our email list since you registered today. But if you don't already receive our emails, be sure to check out some of the resources that's available to women that are starting off as entrepreneurs, as you'll see in there.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you.
Appreciate Tony, it. You're muted.
Sorry, I wasn't expecting. Hi guys, my name is Tony Barnes. I am a business strategist, and I also help solopreneurs develop their business. And I am actually here as a Vista for Hustle. So I am now helping out Hustle again. And yeah, if you see me in the Facebook chat, I'm just helping people respond and get your voice heard on Zoom as well.
We are excited to have Tony back with us in this capacity. Lorena?
Hey everyone, Lorena Muñoz Holiday. I host a podcast in Espanol about your personal finances. I started in January, and little by little I'm building my company to become a financial counselor, which I am a financial counselor for a nonprofit here in town in Winston-Salem, Financial Pathways of the Piedmont. So through the nonprofit, we can help people. If they don't have the resources, we help them for free or for a very minimal amount. And I work part-time for them. And in the other half, I'm building my business, which is proven to take a lot more time, but I'm at peace with the idea that it will take as long as it needs to, but it's gonna be done right. And I've learned so much by coming to this Wednesday webinar. So thank you, Magali, for all your help.
It's our pleasure. It's our pleasure. Lawanda?
Hello, how y'all doing?
Hello.
I am pretty new to everything. I am actually in the startup phase. I'm starting my business. I have a ton of ideas, and I'm just trying to explore and just be prepared, to get everything going. So thank you.
Well, congratulations to you as well, starting up.
Yes, ma'am.
Olga? And if you don't respond probably in the first 10 seconds, I'm just going to move on, and feel free to use the chat to introduce yourself if I go past you. Kathy?
Hi, I'm Kathy Furr. Looking to get back into the website building. My husband has a real estate company, and he would like for me to build a website. So it's been a while since I've done it. So I just wanted to get some new tips for today's world.
Oh, fantastic. So you came to the right place, Kathy. Thanks for joining us.
Okay.
Marlene?
Hello, Marlene Kuzer. The reason why you don't see me is because I'm recovering. This is just to tell everybody, because I've been here almost every week. I'm recovering from surgery, so I don't want to show anybody what I look like. Okay, so soon you will see me. So I am an author, and by the way, Isabel, if you want to connect with me, I'll put my email address in the chat. So author with my husband.
Thank you.
Right? Okay, no problem. Hey, I know what it's like. And artist, you're jewelry designer, I guess. And as a matter of fact, Winston-Salem Fashion Week, there was a call for artists. I have 3 of my pieces. They're going to be at the Milton Rhodes. I'm so excited about this. Milton Rhodes. Yes. And the opening is, everybody's invited. The opening is Friday. I can't wait. I'm going to, just real fast, I'm going to the doctor tomorrow. I don't care what he says. I am going to that opening. Okay. Anyway, and a yay for Tony. That's the other thing I think I need to say. And I think I'm done.
Fantastic, Marlene. Well, we're sending good vibes your way so that you recover well from your surgery, and congratulations on the progression with your business. And both to you and Isabel, again, when you see our emails, you definitely want to check out both Artists Thrive and Idea City. I think both of those would be beneficial to your businesses. Cardi?
Hi, I'm a project coordinator for Wake Forest School of Medicine. I handle a lot of the social media and marketing pieces of a specific ultrasound department within the Wake Forest School of Medicine. I'm really here to learn about all the resources that are out there. Kind of handling social for a business is quite challenging and way different from doing it personally. So really just trying to know, I know this course is about WIX and WordPress, but really just trying to know, what is out there and different aspects of marketing.
Absolutely. And Cardi, you can always do a one-on-one with me, and we can share some of our past sessions on social with you if you need as well.
Thank you.
Felice, am I saying that correctly?
Yes, yeah, that is correct. So I'm really excited to join in on this. I've read about this in the Innovation Quarter newsletter that I get. I'm here in Winston-Salem, and I work for I'm an account manager for a company that does break room management, and they don't do any marketing to any of their existing customers. And I'm just like, all right, I'm going to take this on. So I'm really excited to learn more about it and really help grow their communication and marketing for their existing customers. So I'm really excited to be part of this series.
Fantastic. Kim?
Hi, I'm Kim Lane, and we have started up an LLC. This is a little bit off the normal beaten trail, but this is for lodging for the Hatfield and McCoy trails. And I do a lot of Facebook interaction, promoting our business, and I want to build a website to promote it as well.
Great, great. All right. I'm go quickly here. Jasmus?
Hey, good afternoon. I'm Jasmus, and I am in the startup phase of launching one of my small business, and I am here just trying to, like everyone else said, take on all the resources, gain some knowledge, hopefully learn to build a website so that I can launch and be up and running, and just be better experienced and hopefully be more prepared.
Awesome. Jasmine's turned on her camera and my screen moved. I think I'm at Tasha, maybe? I think I'm at Tasha. If Tasha can't unmute herself, then I'll go on to Danette.
Thank you, Magdalene.
Go ahead, Danette.
Okay, if you guys hear police cars, my apologies. There is an emergency at Mount Tabor, so if you just say a quick prayer for them. But I am Danette Bailey. I am an author of Big Dreams, No Fears, and I am also a preschool teacher and owner of Bailey Preschool.
Awesome. Debbie? Okay, Shannon?
Hello, I am Shannon Brooks, and I'm located in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. The name of my company is Brooks & Associates, and I'm a financial services specialist. So I help people with their finances, making sure they have an adequate amount of life insurance, because as I always say, GoFundMe is not life insurance. And I also make sure that I help people understand and know how credit works.
Awesome. Marianne?
Okay, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Marianne Upson, and this is my 2.0 life. I have, thanks to Hustle and Magley, I have my website up, and I'm here today just to learn all I can. Things are always changing, so how I can tweak it or whatever. But I'm a life coach now. I worked for Baptist Hospital for over 30 years. And as I said, this is my 2.0 life coaching. And I'm coaching women, mature women, successful in every area. But for now, they're having a life-changing event and just need some assistance going through it. So I'm Marianne Upson, and as Clubhouse says, I'm complete.
Thank you, Marianne. So we'll go in this order, then we'll jump right into the presentation. Max, Tasha, and Brittany, just a quick who you are, and if you have a business, tell us about it.
Well, I'll go ahead. My name is Tasha Wilson, and I am the executive admin for Hustle. I don't have a business.
Thank you, Tasha. I was actually talking about Tasha from Texting is Risky Business, but thank you, Tasha.
You know, I did that before. We were on a panel, and the gentleman kept saying, Tasha, 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 but he was talking to her.
That's okay. So Max, Tasha, and Brittany. And if Max won't go, then Tasha, you can go ahead. Tasha, if you're speaking, we can't hear you. I saw you unmute, but we can't hear you.
Hi, this is Max, and I don't have a business, but I want to actually create a 1-page or 2-page resume using Canva. And I think using some part of the infographics that'll be of help. So thank you.
Okay, Max, I do want to let you know that we did a presentation on Canva, very similar to what we're going to do with this series, where we walk people through Canva. So if you send us an email, and Tony or Tasha can put our email address in the chat for you, we can send you those Canva presentations to help you create that Canva.
Cool,
so this
thank
session,
you.
Yeah, this session will focus on websites. So if you want to create a 1 to 2 page website, this session will be helpful. But if you're creating it, while you can create a website from Canva, that's not what we're talking about today.
Okay.
And when you watch those presentations, you'll see that. I just want to make sure that you get the most of what this presentation is about.
That works.
All right.
Thank you.
Fantastic. And then Brittany, if you don't want to, okay, there we go. Brittany.
Okay, I just want to make sure this is Brittany. Hi. So yes, I'm a marketing manager in Charlotte, and I don't have my own business yet, but I do plan to move on what I've been sitting on for years and years. Plus I have a few entrepreneurial endeavors that I'm kind of dabbling in right now. So I've always been interested in starting up a site. So this would be helpful for that. Sorry, y'all.
No problem at all. Awesome. And Isabel, I see your question in chat. It's Idea City and Artists Thrive. Yes. So when you receive our email blast, I'll make sure I send it to you today. You'll see both of those links in there. And like I said, everyone here will eventually receive them, but I'll specifically forward that to you today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
No problem. So we're going to jump right into today's presentation. And some of you were a little late, so you didn't get the earlier spiel, where this is going to be one of those sessions where we're actively walking you through how to do it. So we don't have a PowerPoint presentation like we typically do, or Canva presentation, excuse me, like we typically do for you to go back and take notes. So either you're walking through this with me on your own computer, or you're taking really good notes, or you're going to come back and watch this video on our Facebook page. We will also email you the videos throughout the month, so you'll have access to it. So just so you know how this series is going to run, and you're very familiar with the process, September, I believe we have 5 weeks in September where we'll have marketing outside the box. Today, we're focusing on the front end of WIX. Next week, we're focusing on the back end of WIX. Week 3, we're focusing on the front end of WordPress. Week 4, we're focusing on the back end of WordPress. And then the last week, we're doing a lot of pros and cons, talking to you about domains and how you want to connect your domain if we didn't cover that already throughout the weeks. Any Q&A you may have as you went through building your own website, that last week will really be focused on that. So just want to kind of set the stage for you as you think about this. And I know sometimes we can't make every week. So if you want to prioritize a particular week, that's going to be the role of it. So the main thing here, I'm not going to walk you through creating an account. If you don't already have an account, it's just as simple. Instead of sign in, there'll be an option to log in, I think. I already have an account. We're going to go through the very process of Wix. So literally the website is www.wix.com, right? Sounds simple enough, but sometimes I do need to make sure we share that. You'll create an account. If you already have an account, you'll log in with whatever you want to do. So what I want to drive home to you today is there are 2 ways. So once I have clearly a lot of sites in Wix, but once you once you get into your account, you'll see a plus sign, and depending on what you like, it could be set up this way. I don't want to confuse you if you see a different setup on your page. So it could look different ways. And as you can see, that's just the view. So don't let that confuse you. But the main thing you want to do when you log in, it's going to bring you to this page called My Sites. When you get to My Sites, the first thing you want to do if you're creating a brand new site, if it's your first time on Wix, you don't have all these other sites like I do, you're going to click Create New Site. That's the first thing you're going to do. And I want to say this to you as we're going through this process. You want to be very patient with Wix. Well, maybe I'm the one who needs to be patient. It's not that it's super slow, but it does take some time for some of the pages to load sometimes, and you think something's wrong with your computer, and it's not. I guess because it's just so much media and content on the site. Sometimes you'll see it clocking a little longer. It's nothing wrong. That's what it's supposed to be doing. So one of the first things that you'll see when you click create site, you can choose to skip this. I don't recommend skipping it. If you already know what you want, you can skip it. But if you kind of need help through the process, you kind of put in your business type. You can choose from examples like, I'm just going to put small business and see if that's an option. I don't want a blog though. I just want a small business website. Let's just click business and see what happens.
Magali, I hear so much of people, oh, I have a blog. No, I have a website. And like in my case, when I see other people in my sphere, a combination of both, where I can have articles that I publish or resources about I'm doing this and that. But if I publish something, I want to give the community, whomever gets to my website, to put comments. Is there something combined blog website, or is actually the same? What's the difference between a blog and a website? I'm sorry for being so basic.
No. That's a great question, actually. So a blog can exist as a website. You can decide to build a blog as a website. Most blogs are technically a website, right? Typically, what I would say for those who decide to have a blog, you know that you are constantly updating content. Remember when we went through SEO last month and I talked a lot about blogs, and then I said or websites, because your SEO with blogs will keep you on the top of Google. Blogs, you're constantly providing content. In your case, Lorena, because you have a podcast, I'm not telling you what to do with your business. I don't know what other services you provide, but because you have a podcast, a blog wouldn't be a bad idea. A blog site wouldn't be a bad idea. So is there a hybrid idea behind that? Yes. When you saw, I think it said small business blog, and we'll just do that one for the sake of helping you see what I'm talking about. We'll just do that because it's still just a website. Okay.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
So you put in whatever type of business you have or whatever type of website you want, whatever, right? And then you can choose to skip it. You can choose to skip it, but this just helps narrow down, although it's still going to be a lot of choices that pop up. So the next thing I want to point out, there are two ways. Now, Wix is known to be the easiest way right now to create your own website. Once upon a time, it was not. It was WordPress once upon a time, but today, Wix is the easiest way. There are two ways. We're going to go through both ways. We're going to go through this one first, because when you see how simple this is, you might decide this is all I want to do. I don't even want to learn how to do this. This was all I need from this series, and that's okay, because this way is so simple. I recommend this way for those of you who don't constantly, number one, if you really feel like you are technically challenged and it's going to be super, super hard for you to even try to navigate Wix in any way. Once you see how we talk about the editor, if you think that's going to be too complicated, then I recommend the ADI, and that's artificial design intelligence, if I remember correctly. That's what that stands for. Both ways, I will tell you, are super, super simple. The benefit of the editor versus ADI is you can customize this one more. This one has a few more restrictions. And again, we're going to go through this one first, and then we're going to follow up with this one. This one has a little bit more restrictions, but when I tell you it is the easiest way that you can create a website, I kid you not. Like, you're going to almost be amazed, okay? So, and this is technically still a very new concept. As far as I know, Wix is the only site that offers something like this, okay? So you click Start Now. And remember, this is after you click Create a Site. You put what type of business you have or what type of website you want. You click Start Now under the ADI option. You're going to answer a few questions. This is literally Wix building a website for you. You're going to answer a few questions based on what you told Wix you want your site to be. Remember, we chose small business blog. They make recommendations on what they think should be on a small business blog. So I'm going to accept their recommendations. If I decided, yeah, my small business blog, I'm going to also sell, going back to Lorena's example, it's going to be a podcast blog, but I'm also going to sell merchandise connected to my podcast blog. So I need an online store on my blog, on my website. So I decide to select that. And if at any point you can't see my screen or you have questions about if I'm moving too fast, please just unmute yourself and let me know. And then it shows you a lot of other features that you may want to add to your website. Don't be alarmed by some of these features. Next week when we're doing the back end of Wix, I'm going to talk about some of these features. So don't be too alarmed, but it does give you a small description of what each of these things mean, so you can decide if it's something you want on your website or not. Okay. So again, she might decide with her podcast, she's going to do events. So she want to have some way for people to RSVP or something like that. She wants to make sure her Instagram feed is on her blog.
Forums.
Mm-hmm.
Forums.
What was that?
Forum, start discussions and build community, right above food orders.
Food orders? Is that what you're saying?
Above, forum. The forum.
Forum.
The forum, sorry, okay. So you want a forum. So you just select whatever it recommends for you. And again, you always have the option to completely ignore. You can decide, I don't want to pay attention to anything Wix is recommending to me right now. And you can choose to click maybe later. I don't suggest that, but it won't hurt you at all. I think this ADI, this artificial design intelligence, and I really hope that's it, artificial design intelligence, Wix artificial design intelligence. It's created to make this an easy process for you, okay? So
I got a question. It may be covered next week, but so let's say you picked online store, okay? But then when you got further into it, you said, geez, I don't want to do an online store. So can you like back out and go to like the beginning or whatever?
Yeah, you can always have the option to delete a site that you started and start over, or go back and make edits. Remember I said the ADI versus the editor, the ADI is more restrictive, and you'll see that you won't see it until we get through the editor, but you'll notice that it's a little bit more restrictive. Some things you cannot change in ADI versus editor, you can change whatever you want. Like in ADI doesn't have the drag drop feature that you're going to see us walk through in the editor. But the simple answer to your question is yes. And with an asterisk next to that yes. Okay.
Thanks.
So we'll go into the next screen at this point. And then you can name your blog, and all of this you can come back and edit, but we're just going to call this Lorena's website, right? That's just what we're going to call it, just for the sake of simplicity. And if you're not ready to name it yet, again, you can always skip and come back to it. I just always want to point that out. Don't feel pressured in the moment. Because that type of stuff stops small business owners. You start to overthink, what do I want to call this? And you never move on. So if you already have existing content, whether it's from a website, whether it's from whatever, an existing link that you want Wix to pull content from, that's the next screen it's going to bring you to. You drop that link here. For those of you that joined us last month when we went through SEO for the entire month, this should make complete sense to you when he's talking about Google Places. You search for your Google Places and you'll add it in there as well. And the reason it's doing that is Wix is going to pull that data. It's going to pull a lot of that data to create this website for you. But it's okay if you don't have it, or if you don't want to put it in now, you just hit skip or next. We're not going to put anything because I don't know if Lorena has anything, and it's just not that serious right now for the purposes of what I'm telling you. But if you do have somewhere a web presence where you wanted to pull data from or content from, and if you have your Google locations and all the Google stuff we talked about last month, if that's set up, this is the time to put it in there, okay? And then you click next. If you have a logo, you add your logo, you add whatever email address you want for your account, whatever information you want on your website for your business, social media, all of the above. Again, I'm not going through the process, but hopefully you see how simple it is. Like you will click a plus sign, you choose a picture from whether you're pulling it from your computer, whether you're pulling it from a drive, you'll add it in, etc. Very simple process, and you can add all your social links. You click next. You will have to choose a theme. Now, remember I said the ADI is more restrictive. On the editor version, when we get to the editor version, you'll realize you have way more themes, like way too many actually. but the ADI is more restrictive. You choose one of these as your theme. So she talks about money. I like green. We're going to go with this green theme. And continue, right? Again, for those that joined us last month, you remember that I talked about SEO and your homepage being key to your business. And that's why Wix, I mean, I don't work at Wix. Let me put out this disclaimer as I go through Wix and WordPress. I do not work for Wix or WordPress. I am not an expert on either one. I've just used both and familiar with both and have seen both help small businesses. But okay, so last month we talked about the importance of your homepage and things of that nature. So you can choose one of the recommendations that it is giving you, or again, you can skip. I don't recommend skipping because the whole point of this is to make your life easier. Let me move this. It's to make your life easier, but you choose one of these recommendations. And again, you can see it's restrictive. These are your options when it's creating a website for you. These are your 3 options that it's giving you for your homepage, as opposed to the editor. When you see, you can choose whatever you want. So we're going to go with this one. And it's literally walking you through. Remember, you chose all of those categories. You decide what you want, and you'll click add page to all of the sites, all of the pages you want added to your website. You literally click add page. And I'm walking you through this one fairly quickly because that's how simple this step is. Like, again, I said, some of you may see this and think, I don't even want to learn how to use the editor, although I prefer the editor. You might see this and think, this is all I want. Like this is magic. I call it magic, honestly. So you select what you want, then you click. Once you add your pages to your site, you created your home page, and now you added additional pages to your site, you go ahead and click edit site.
What if you needed more pages? Like in my case, I see each podcast episode to have its own page where it'll have the play button. They can listen to the podcast right from within the page, and then the notes, the show notes. So I will need a website where I have access to have one page per episode. But what I see is like one page like where I can put all the episodes, and then if they click the episode, they go to another page. So this may be too simple.
Right. So that's why I'm walking you through this one fairly quickly, Lorena. And then you may benefit from the editor version. Remember, in the beginning, I said there are 2 ways to create a Wix website. I'm currently walking you through the ADI version, which is fairly simple. And again, I recommend this version for those of you who probably won't make many updates to your website. It's pretty much, you might go in once in a blue moon to change something here or there, but you pretty much have a website that you don't intend to really, when people come to it, what they see is the information that you need them to see. And you're probably not, I recommend it for those people that are also they're not that tech savvy enough to want to deal with the back end of the editor, or people who honestly just do not have the time. Like some of us, we would love to dedicate the time to work on the editor version of our site, but we honestly just do not have the time. We don't have the patience, or whatever the case. Those are the people who the editor is meant for. I mean, the editor, the ADI version of Wix is meant for. And I walked through it fairly quickly, but so once you hit that, the pages that you created creates this site. And I'm about to tell you something about this before we move on to the editor, but a few things Lorena said. You asked about if you did want to stick with the ADI version and you wanted to add additional pages. Remember when I was walking you through it and you were selecting some of those recommendations, you can add more pages from there. But again, the ADI version is more restrictive. So you're choosing from what it said. Now, you remember how some of those things I said, I don't recommend you skip. If you choose to skip, then it'll give you a few more options as opposed to the categories you selected. So that way you can kind of semi-customize it. But for the most part, the ADI is literally a website in a box. You choose certain things, certain elements, and it's a website in a box. Like you can go into each of these categories. As you see, as I scroll through the site that it's created, it highlights it. You can go into each of those and you can edit factors such as the copy. So, you can obviously change what it says. I think this is technically your Instagram feed from what I selected to be on the website, but you can change, like you don't want it to say thanks for submitting, you wanted to say something. You can change stuff like that. But the design of this site, like if you decided you wanted to move your Instagram feed, well, you could move the boxes. That's what these arrows are. Like if you want to move this up instead of having it down or whatever, but you can't decide I want to move this picture to this side instead and all of that stuff, because this again is a website in a box. Like let's just say you have 3 events coming up and you want this image to go with that. You can't do that. Like you don't have the flexibility of those changes on the ADI versus if this was the editor version, we literally can change anything we want. Okay. And you'll see, we're not going to go into the details of the edit because it's very similar to when you see me go through the edit details in editor. So when you're learning it in editor, just know that's the same way you will make those edits in ADI. So as far as, if you want to navigate to your about page to make changes to your about page, when you see me walk you through it in the editor version, it's the same process. Okay. And when you're done, once your ADI version of your site looks the way you want it to look, you can decide to preview your site just to see what it would look like to everybody else that visits your website. You can say, oh, this is not what I thought it would look like and start over, or this is exactly what I wanted and start over. And if you do want to make changes, you just click edit site, go back, click edit site and make whatever edits you decided you wanted to make. And once you're completely done, you will click publish. Now, and I'll go ahead and publish because I'll just delete it later, but you'll click publish and then the website will exist. Now we'll talk a little bit more about domains during the last week of this series, but if you already purchased a domain, so like if you already went to GoDaddy or what are these other sites? All of these other sites where you can purchase a domain, and you can purchase a domain through Wix as well. So you don't want it to say, let me go back to preview. You don't want people to visit, Wix.com, Lorena's website or whatever, right? You want people to just visit lorenaswebsite.com. Then that's what a domain does. They'll take you to an actual site instead of like this long, weird website. But it's okay if you are, especially if you're a blog, it's okay if you don't want to pay for a domain and you just rather have the Wix site. The key thing to know when you do a Wix site, if you don't pay for a Wix account, if you're going to do the free website, because the baseline of all of these are free sites. If you stick with the free one, you will have ads on your website from Wix. So you determine for yourself if that's important to you or not, but your website will have some type of Wix ad on it if you stick with the free website, okay? And during the last week, again, if you don't already do this before the last week, we'll compare prices and talk about some of those simple logistical things. And that's literally from the ADI side, before we jump over to editor. From the ADI side, that's how simple it is for you to have a website. And honestly, if you already have your domain, when you're done with how you want your website to look, you click connect your domain. Wix will walk you through those steps of connecting your domain. It's super simple. This is something, if you are just trying to have a web presence, you can probably do in less than an hour, if I'm being honest with you. Just depending on how much information you want to pour into it, how many pages you're going to have, things of that nature, with the ADI version of Wix. So just so that I can wrap up the steps in your mind, wrap up the steps of the ADI version before we transfer over to the editor version. Number one, you create an account. So if you don't already have an existing Wix account, you go to wix.com and create an account, right? And it's free. You just create your account. That's the first thing. And they'll have all of these things that, getting started that'll help you through that process. But, depending on your comfortability level with what you just saw me do, if you're going to decide to do ADI, depending on your comfortability level, which you just saw me do, you may not even need to read through all those because those resources aren't going to go anywhere. They are there in your account if you ever do need to go back. The second thing after you create an account, you're going to click that create new site link that you saw me click in the beginning. You're going to add your features. You're going to put in your contact details. You're going to design your site. I'm going a little fast. Get started. That's number one. You're going to get started by creating your account and everything. Number two, you're going to add your features. Number three, you're going to make sure you put in your contact details. And again, for those that were with us last month, you know the importance of putting in your contact details as it relates to SEO, people finding your site, people finding your blog, people finding your products and services. So that's number three, input your contact details. Number four, you're going to design your site. And by design your site, it's all of those things that you saw me choosing and saying, we're going to add this to the website. Number five, you're going to select the style. As you saw me do, I said I wanted the green one for Lorena's website. I chose, they gave me three options. I think I chose the first one. That's what I mean by select your style, okay? And you kind of look at it, make whatever text edits you want, and then click, when you're ready, you click publish. Is there a question?
Yes, two questions. This is an excellent introduction. And then I wonder, first question, is that possible to change the Lorena's website's image and then I can upload or no? The second one is if I have a team and then I want to give another member the access to my website so he or she can help me edit, is that possible with ADI or I have to go through the editors?
No, you can do both of those through ADI. So as far to answer your second question, when we go through the back end next week, you'll see where you can add people to your account so that they can have the access to edit, and you can give them limited access to only certain things. For example, if you sell things on your website and you don't want them to have access to the finance part, you can not give them access to that. So you'll see us walk through that a little bit next week. Cool. And as far as editing like the back picture, so what you'll notice in ADI, if you decide to do the ADI version, is some of the designs will let you and some of the designs won't. So I clicked edit on this block, this square here. I click the word edit and this pops up. If it's an option to change anything, you will see it here. You will see the option pop up. It said section design. You click on that, customize the design section. You want to change the picture, you would choose media. So in this particular design, you can change the media. I think most of them you can, some of them you cannot. So it just depends on which one you end up choosing in ADI. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So this one I cannot, but in other template, maybe I can.
No, in this one you can.
This one I can. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in this one you can because it says customize section design. And it gives me, it gives me the option for media. Media typically means you can change the picture or video or whatever is there as a, if I couldn't, then media would either be grayed out or it wouldn't be here at all.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So in this one you can. So yeah, you can in some of them and some of them you cannot. So once you select your style and you're okay with your website that you built, I suggest you always preview it and see what it looks like. And then you click publish whenever you're ready to publish your site. And you can always go back and make changes. Again, we'll talk about that next week. Something I did not talk about with ADI, and I won't talk about it with editor either, is the SEO. We'll talk about that a little bit next week when we go into the back end, but I do want you to know you still can connect your SEO on an ADI website, and that's very, very important. And then, once you connect your SEO, you connect your domain if you choose to purchase a domain, and then you're done, okay? So that's the basics of it. That's the basics of ADI, and don't be alarmed for those that are like, we're not gonna get through editor. Remember, we're dedicating 2 weeks to WIX. So we'll start with editor today, and we'll finish off editor next week before we jump into the back end of editor next week. So any questions about what you just saw about ADI before I jump over to editor?
Yes, hi.
Yes.
Can you just clarify, what is SEO?
Search engine optimization.
Okay, and this might be my next question. So, and forgive me, but I don't know. So with WIX, is that the, I guess, the credit card processor that you would link to it, or does WIX have its own, or?
No. So SEI is how your website and your business is relevant on the internet. So what I will do, I can't see who's asking that question, but who is it?
Jasmine. Yeah, so we can, I
Jasmine.
guess, talk offline or something. You can, that's fine.
Yeah, and Jasmine, what I was going to suggest, I don't know if Tasha is still with us, but I know Tony is. What we'll do is send you last month's series. Last month's series was all about SEO. So week 1 through week 4, we'll send it to you to make sure that your business is thriving on Google. Okay.
Thank you.
People know how to find you on the internet. So that means we owe Jasmine something, and I owe Isabel something. I think those are 2 people. Oh no, I owe somebody else something too. I need to make sure. Tony, are you getting this? Jasmine, Isabel, and somebody else I promised something to.
Emily, can you send that to me as well, as far as the contact
SEO?
details?
Okay, so Jasmine and Kim needs it. Tony, are you getting this for me? I don't want to forget. Max is the person I need to send Canva to. So I need to send Canva to Max. We need to send SEO to Jasmine and Kim, and I need to send a newsletter to Isabel. If Tasha's not, if Tasha's not here, Tasha might be hearing all of this, Tony, but just in case, so you can remind me after this. Thank you to both of you. All right, any other questions about ADI before I jump over to the start of editor? So again, if you, and I'm just gonna, and you can, I can hit I'm gonna actually publish it in case I need to reference this next week. And this, you'll see when you publish, if you have a domain, you'll do it. If you don't, you'll see right here, it's telling me my domain is gonna be my email, wix.com, and whatever I decide to call it, which is Lorena's website, is what I think I called it. Publish and continue. And now that URL technically exists if I wanted to share it with the world and say, this is where you can find out more about Lorena's website. And again, remember I told you Wix takes a minute, so don't think something's wrong with your computer. It literally just, all of that content takes a second to load and you're done. Your website exists. Like literally you can take this link that I just created and you can go right now on the internet and you're gonna see this because I now created this website. Of course, this will be customized with your information that you put in and, whatever content you actually typed up. And if you decide to change some of this stuff, some of this, again, you will not be able to change, but the website will exist. That's the beauty of the ADI. You can do it literally in minutes. But remember, like I told you, you will have some type of ad from Wix if you don't connect to actual domain. And if you don't pay for if you don't pay for a premium account.
I have one quick question. I have heard a lot about having, in many websites now, you see that cookies, please accept cookies. It's something to do with the European Union. I don't have idea. How do we make sure we are in compliance with that cookies something? And then, like, you have to have disclosures, protection, like copyright, and all of that. Could you maybe?
Yeah. So the beauty, yeah, that's a great question. The beauty of these sites like Wix and WordPress and Squarespace and they build that into you creating your website. So when you are connecting the domain, if you decide to do that, when you're connecting a domain, you'll kind of see you're checking boxes or saying yes, yes, yes. They kind of cover all of that for you. I mean, you can go ahead and choose to read through the small print, but these sites are set up to make sure you are in compliance. And one thing you'll see, I don't know if we'll have time next week to go through this piece of it, Lorena, but once you start to explore the back end, after I kind of show you where to find it on the back end next week, and if you remember, please ask me the same question next week. Something you'll see is that Wix will give you like alerts on things that once you publish your site that may not be correct. Like if there's something wrong with your cookies, for example, Wix will tell you. Wix will say you need to do this for this to no longer be a problem. You know what I mean? So these sites are pretty much set up for you to succeed in having a website. I hope that's helpful. And you'll see a little bit of that when we talk about the back end next week.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. So we have about 10 minutes for me to start the editor version. And then we'll probably take the first 20 to 30 minutes of next week to finish the editor version and then jump into the back end, okay? So don't be alarmed. So let's see, we'll create it. Tech companies annoy me. We're gonna create, let's just do business again. I think we did small business, but let's say consultant. Let's just go with a consultant. I think I heard a few of you today that provide consultant services. So instead of ADI this time, you're gonna choose create your website with the editor, which used to be the only version that Wix offered, okay? And you click edit a template. So remember, we put in consultant. Now you could have chosen to not put in anything and just skip, and you would have gotten way more options. But for those that were with us during Canva, it would become an extensive list. We know there's at least 46 pages. Can you all still see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, my computer told me you couldn't, but okay. So yeah, you already see it, there's 46 pages. If you have the patience, you can go through all 46 templates to see, or 46 pages of templates, might even be more, to see which business consultant company template you want, okay? And you can also decide, I just want to look at all the templates. I don't really care about, a particular type of template, or you can start from scratch. You can decide none of these work for me, or whatever. You can decide whatever. Now, Magali always chooses a template. I am nowhere near tech savvy. There's no coding involved with these things, which is what I love. But I trust the experts and the creatives that came together to create these templates for specific fields. And they give you so many options that I just go ahead and choose one. But if you're really feeling super like fancy or creative and know what you want, you can go ahead and choose blank templates and start from there. And then you can always, you can look by categories. You can be like, oh, what's the most popular one? I typically look at most popular and choose something opposite of it, because I don't want my website to look like everybody else's website. Or I look at what's new, but new, typically you'll find new things in the most popular. So we said consultant website, and let's just say, I think this website speaks to me. I like the way, whatever you want to look, no, I like this one. Here's the beauty of this page, or these pages. When you hover over a particular one, you can do one of three things. You can, if you know that's the one you want to work with, you can just click edit, and it's going to take you to the site first to start editing, making changes. You can view it, so you can kind of see what it looks like. And when you click view, you can view what they call their full demo, and you can kind of see what the site looks like in general. It gives you like a sample of, okay, well, this is, if I choose this one, if this is the site I decide that this is the site I want to go with, this is really the field that I'm going with, then you can go ahead and click edit site, and decide, yeah, this is exactly what I'm looking for. If you decide it's not for you, you can also, and we'll go through this some more, you can also look at what it'll look like on a mobile device for people, if you choose to do that. But we'll go through that some more, so don't worry about too much about that today. But if it's not what you want, you just go back and start over. Remember, I said there were three things. So that was edit and view, and then you can just click more info. This I don't think is that important, but for some people it may be. So I want to point it out for you that it just tells you the type of businesses that, or the type of things that this website is good for. So if you selected this template is good for businesses, consultants, and professionals, and then it'll kind of give you a brief description of each of them. And if you chose a category like we did, consultants, most of them may say the same thing or something very similar. But if you didn't choose a category, if you chose all templates, then you'll probably kind of see differences in that info section. Like this template says it's good for grocery stores, food delivery services, online retailers, etc. So yeah, it's just kind of what you think you want. All right. So that's just the basic of it. So we're gonna go with women empowerment. What was I doing? I was in consulting. Let's just stick to what I was at. Let's see, 5 minutes. We can go through some more in 5 minutes. So we're gonna go with this one. We decide this is the one we want. It gives us the simplicity feel we want. So we click edit. Again, you have to be a little patient with it because it's building the editor for you to create. I won't go too far in this today because we have about 4 minutes and I don't want to confuse you. But one of the first things I want to point out is immediately the difference between the ADI and the editors. You can see that this is set up for you to make edits to a website. Simple things that you will want to know to start off with, especially if you decide to start this when you get off this today. First thing I want to point out to you is the tools section. The tools section I want to point out because it determines what this page looks like as you work on it. So for me, I always choose grid lines and snap objects, and I'll explain what those mean in just a second. But you may decide it's important for you to have the toolbar the entire time. Did you all see the toolbar pop up when I clicked it?
Yes.
Yes, for me, I find that personally distracting, but I find that a lot of people, when they're working with it, they want to see this the entire time. They want to know what tools they have available to them as they're working on pages. I personally do not. It always confuses me. Same thing with layers. Layers let you know how many layers you're working on your page, meaning you have this image, but this image is on top of a background and that background is on top. Like it lets you know all of the layers you have in any particular part of your page, okay? So you can kind of, as you edit your site, you'll see those things pop up. Again, my preference is I don't like layers, but it is important to some people. A lot of people prefer to have the ruler. A lot of people want the ruler so they can make sure their measurements are right on their website. Some people want to bring it in because they want certain parts of their sites to be slimmer. Other people want to widen it because they want certain parts of their sites to kind of span more throughout the site. I think those are some of the benefits of having the ruler. Again, for Magali, it stresses me out, so I don't keep the ruler. A lot of people, most people that at least from the people I've worked with, that don't like rulers also don't like grid lines. They don't like to see the grid lines. Me, I don't know what it is, but I need those grid lines when I'm working on it. It lets me know that this is not my real site. This is the site that I'm editing. That's just a mental thing for me. So these are just things that's as you begin to work through the site that you need to know. And then snap to objects. I think everybody should use snap to objects, but you don't have to. Some people find it distracting. Now, snap to objects basically mean if I decide I want to change a part of my site or move a part of my site, you'll notice that you see those kind of purple pinkish lines that pop up. Do y'all see that when I move this?
Yes.
That's what snap to objects is. It kind of helps you keep things in line, lets you know what things are lining up with or not lining up with. That's what it means. I find it very helpful. And I just kind of wanted you to start off with the tools so it doesn't confuse you as you navigate the page, because it can get very distracting if your page isn't, if your tools aren't set up how you want it to be set up as you begin to make changes to your site based on what your preferences are. There's not a wrong way, right way. It's just based on what you prefer, okay? I'm gonna pause here, knowing that we just went through the tools, and next week we're gonna dive deep into literally editing your site. I may choose a different site, one with video, or maybe I'll just add all those things to this site as I see you work through it. But you'll see us navigate the whole part of creating a site. You'll kind of see how it's a little bit more work than the ADI, but you can customize it way more. So again, we'll spend about the first 20 to 30 minutes next week on that, and then the last 30 minutes or so on just kind of back end things you need to know about WIX. So I'll save this for us to consulting site, MOTB. I'll save this for us to continue next week. And I know we're right at 1:30. So I'll stop sharing my screen for a minute, but are there any questions for what the simple things we just went through for the editor piece? And if you have to go, I definitely understand. We're at 1:30. So if you have to go, hope to see you next week. And if you don't have to go, I do have a few more minutes for any questions you may have.
Well, thank you for customizing a lot of things for what I want to do. Appreciate it. But now you mentioned if you build a website in Wix, but then because the difference in the website building is like, this is like Canva for website. Like this is the Canva of the websites. But then you need to decide to upload it. You cannot use this template outside of Wix. You'll have to buy one of their products, one of their.
No, you mean as far as a domain?
No, like in my case, I have a domain already, but then you still need to pay. Like if I want to use my own domain, and for the space you pay, because like my podcast, I can do it for free in Anchor, but I use Podbean, and when my 5 hours of free times are done, I have to start paying. So what about Wix?
You can have a free Wix website forever until they change their rules if you want. Just know that with a free Wix website, like I pointed out, they're going to keep an ad on your website, and you'll have in your URL, you'll have something that has the word Wix in it. And that's fine for some people, depending on what you're doing, because some people, they're only creating a website as a blog and they never actually give away a URL. They just always share a link that says, visit my blog, and they hyperlink the words my blog. You know what I mean? So they don't really care that it says my site, Wix, or whatever. Versus, I think if you have a business, you should have a URL. I mean, you should have a domain tied to it, but it's not the end of the world, especially if you're starting off. Like when I first started my event business years and years and years and years ago, I didn't purchase a domain until 3 years later. And everybody that visited my website saw that Wix word, and they saw that Wix ad. Now I don't, again, as a business owner, I don't recommend that, but I was super early starting off, and honestly, I didn't care back then, I just did it. But so you can always have it free. Now to add a domain, Lorena, yes, there will be a cost associated, but you can bring your domain in from anywhere. You don't have to use a Wix domain. When you pay for an account with Wix, I mean, it's just a website. Like if you go visit Hustle's website right now, that's a Wix website. There's nothing on there that lets you know it's a Wix website, I guess, unless you're just familiar with Wix. But we just went to Wix and created a Wix website one day. You know what I mean? So I'm not quite sure what you mean by that when you say cost. Once you pay for a premium account, you're going to pay whatever that price is. And again, we'll go through some price comparison the last week. But you can go to Wix website right now and see the prices. It's really, in my opinion, it's not that expensive if you think about a few years ago to build a website, to get somebody to code and put a website together for us, we were paying thousands of dollars compared to, some people pay $100 for the entire year for their Wix website. I don't remember the exact price based on what features you choose. So I don't know if I'm answering your question, but I hope I am.
Yeah, the general idea. So if I want to use thepesopeso.com and create a website there, if I don't want to have Wix anywhere, that's going to have a cost because they're going to be hosting my website with my own domain. I already bought it somewhere else. I just will bring it in. But then the different prices, I'll have to decide how much I want in it, and I guess it will upgrade as the business grows at some point. But the main question was, if I create the website in Wix, then the website itself is logged in there. It's not like, I believe, the way I understand that if you create a website in WordPress, that I have heard is a little more difficult, then your website, you can go to any site and then bring what you've created with you into that host or the company that hosts your website and you look for the best price. But I think that route is a little more complicated. It could be more complicated if you are not a professional website builder.
Yeah, if you're talking about switching from one host to another host, that gets a little difficult with any web builder or anything, but it's possible with Wix. It's just a little bit more difficult. We're not going to go through that in this series, but if it's something you want to know when you see me go through the back end, I think I can point out to you where Wix explains that. Okay. I just need to remember to do that.
Wonderful. Yeah, this definitely is taking the blinders I had and the fears, like, oh my gosh, I have to build a website.
Yeah. Any other questions from anyone else? I noticed there's still a few people left on the call. Lawanda, Olga, Marlene.
Yes, I'm going to ask a stupid question, okay?
No such thing.
So I think I like the ADI better, okay? And for me, I think I'm just going to go to Canva, create whatever I need to do, and just import it over, right? There's nothing else I have to do, right? Just import whatever I need from Canva.
In order for me to successfully answer that question for you, I need clarity on why you're going to Canva. Like, you mean the content you created on Canva, you wanted to live on your website? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, because I do have some things that I already made, and I just haven't done anything with it. So it's on my computer, but you know what I'm saying?
Yes, if I understand you correctly, then, I mean, you would go to Canva to pull your content, but you wouldn't import it from Canva to your website, unless Canva has added a Wix integration, which last I checked, I don't think they have that as an option. You would download your Canva content to your computer. And when you're building your Wix website, where you saw me click on media, and you'll see us talking about this next week a little bit. When you click media, you would upload it into your Wix website.
Right, that's right. That's exactly what I meant.
Okay. I thought you meant like a transition, an import. I'm like, there's no import option, but yes. Correct.
That's right. Yes, that's right.
Correct,
Yeah, you know I'm not too good with the computers yet, so that's it. Perfect. Yes. Good.
So, I think you would benefit well from an ADI site as well, Marlene.
Yes, and I'll see you next week for sure.
And I do have a.
You see me next week, but that's all right. Take care. It's great as always.
All right.
Sorry, I do have one more question. So between the Wix and the WordPress and the Canva, which one would you recommend to create a website?
For a website, personally, I think I recommend Wix if you're talking about simplicity and ease of use.
Yes.
I think Wix is my preference, because a Canva site it's really just based off of the content you create in Canva. When you receive those presentations, you'll probably have a better understanding of what I mean. A WordPress site is just as simple to create. To me, it's just a bit more to manage. It's a bit more work to manage a WordPress site.
Got it. Thank you.
A lot of plugins, but I recommend Wix.
Thank you. See you next week. Thank you.
See you next week. Okay, I see a question in the chat for me before I go. Where do I get next week? It's the same link. However you got here today, it's the exact same link for you to join the session. The question for those that are still with us is, where do I get next week's session? It's the same link, so you all will receive it. All right, bye everyone. Any other questions? I see a few more people still here.
Thank you so much. And guys, pray for whomever's the family that probably lost a child in Mount Tabor while we were in this meeting.
Oh no!
I kept receiving the text of the ring alert. So Spies, Mount Tabor, and I think even Parkland, they are in lockdown because it was a shooter. And someone got killed at Mount Tabor. And I don't know if it's a teacher, a child, I don't know any details, but just keep that family in your prayers.
Oh my God, I will definitely go look into this and pray for everyone. Y'all, please be careful. Thank you for letting us know, Lorena.
Careful, and I'll let you go. Thank you so much. Today was amazing, like always.
No problem. Our pleasure.
Bye.
Felice and Lawanda, do you all have a question for me? Nope. Lawanda just left. Felice, do you have a question? You're good before we end this Zoom? All right. Well, thank you to those that joined us on Facebook. I'm sure between Tasha and Tony, hopefully they answered your questions if you had any. And I will see everybody next week.